Chapter 60-64. Nanako knew that monks and martial arts were no longer the same world. If she stayed here, it would indeed be meaningless and would delay the business, so she said, "Since in this way, I will go find a suitable house for practicing today. Thompson is not so convenient." Charlie couldn't help but sigh. "We really should find a place suitable for practicing Taoism. You can go to my mountainside villa first, which is quieter and more private." Nanako nodded slightly, and then asked with some expectancy, "Then will you go there to practice Taoism?" Charlie said frankly, "I am ashamed to say that I have no good way to further improve my cultivation. So I rarely practice. As for the mountainside villa, apart from refining some elixirs, I have no other use." Nanako asked him, "Do you still think it's because you haven't cultivated the mental method?" "Yes." Charlie nodded. "My current situation is like a self-taught elementary school course. But I haven't found the middle school textbooks yet, and I can't find them. The students accepted by the school have no idea how to improve themselves in the next step. And they are equivalent to streetwalkers in the field of monasticism." Nanako could see Charlie's helplessness and couldn't help but say, "Don't belittle yourself. In this world, no one can. Every discipline has been established bit by predecessors. And the same goes for practicing Taoism." Although Charlie does not have a ready-made mental cultivation method, I believe that if Charlie is willing to study hard, he might be able to develop a set of mental methods by himself. Charlie did not comment on Nanako's words. He also knew that this possibility must exist in theory. However, it would be easier for the predecessors to plant trees and for others to enjoy the shade. It would be easier to stand on the shoulders of giants and achieve results. And if you want to establish a sect in a certain field on your own, it is not something that can be described as difficult. It requires a genius beyond ordinary people to do it. Charlie didn't think he was such a genius, but Nanako's words also gave him some inspiration. It is difficult for a primary school student to have talents like Newton and Gauss. But if you are more down-to-earth and do more research on the basis of elementary school mathematics, you might be able to figure out a little bit of the knowledge of junior high school mathematics. Just like before, Nanako relied on her own exploration to achieve voyeurism and found a way to make her consciousness jump down into the sea of consciousness without a teacher. That method not only made her martial arts improve rapidly, but also it laid a solid foundation for her enlightenment. As soon as he thought about this, Charlie secretly decided in his heart that he would take more time to go to the mountainside villa in the future, where he could concentrate on studying Taoism. Maybe he could find a way to break through on the existing basis. However, when he thinks about his grandmother's family living in a villa in the middle of the mountain, if goes there every day to practice retreat, he will definitely pass by the door of his grandmother's house. Out of courtesy, since he is there, it is impossible not to say hello. But once he says hello, this efficiency stool will naturally decrease. Besides, if Nanako comes here every day, it will not be easy to explain to her grandmother after all. Therefore, Charlie couldn't wait to find a new place to practice. After thinking about it, Stella's idea of buying the Qin family's waterfront mansion when she came to Aurus Hill under the pseudonym John Fay jumped into his mind. The Qin family's villa is located in Shuiyun Villa, which is far away from the city. It is surrounded by mountains and rivers, has excellent scenery, and has not many residents, so it is relatively quiet. Moreover, the Qin family's mansion is a combination of two villas. Not only do they have the same buildings as the two villas themselves, but they also took advantage of the early loosening of policies to make a lot of additions to combine the two villas into one. The actual usable area is at least 3 the size of a villa. Stella originally bought this house and asked his wife to help design and renovate it. Now that it has been idle, it is better to buy this house from Stella and use it exclusively for his own cultivation in the future. Moreover, there are not many households in Shuiyun Villa. There are only 20 or 30 households in total, and they are all large houses. Charlie feels that he might as well do it more thoroughly and send more people to come forward to cover all the households in Shuiyun Villa. Buy all the houses and make it a base. The reason why Charlie had this idea was because the geographical location of Shuayun Villa was indeed special. This community is built on a gentle hillside. The lake in front is actually a naturally formed barrier lake. The road passes through the foot of the mountain, and the road up the mountain is a 2-lane cement road built by the developer of the community. This road only leads to Shuayun Villa, which means that except for the owners and visitors of Shuayun Villa, almost no one else will come here. Once the actual owners of the entire community are all themselves, outsiders will naturally be isolated from the community. Moreover, Orville's original underground force had a deep background in Orus Hill, and there were many property companies among them. He could easily replace the property company in Shuayun Villa and let Orville come forward to establish a new property company. Then replace all the employees of the property company with his own people. In this way, the confidentiality level of Shuayun Villa will be higher. He can do something big in Shuayun Villa. Every villa in Shuayun Villa has a large underground space. What's even more rare is that Ashua liked to practice martial arts since she was a child. So her father built a special training ground for her underground and invested a sum of money to develop it. Taking a look at the underground part of Shuayun Villa, maybe they can gradually turn it into an existence comparable to a dead soldier's garrison, which will be of great use in the future. Thinking of this, Charlie immediately said to Nanako, "Nanako, I'll call Miss Stella. She has a very suitable training venue in her hands.